Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I have three different recipes that I've made over the last couple weeks that I want to share with you. All three of them are keeper recipes and turned out really good and had really good reception from the family that tried it. So let's get into the first one. As usual, I will always have all the recipe links down below or the written out recipes. The first recipe is a chicken enchilada roll-up. I recently showed you how I made my homemade red chicken enchilada sauce. I will have that video linked down below. So I just have a piece of chicken that I flattened out slightly, adding in some of that red enchilada sauce. And then I'm going to add a whole green chili on top. The original recipe called for diced green chilies, but I just thought it would be good with whole green chilies. I don't know, it just sounded a lot better. And then I'm just adding in some diced tomatoes, so I'm just putting those on top. And then I'm going to add on some cheese. Use any kind of cheese you like. I had the Colby Jack on hand, so that's what I'm using. So I just sprinkle some of that on there, and then do that with the rest of your chicken breasts. So you can see here I have 4 of my chicken breasts. I did put a little bit of enchilada sauce in the bottom of the pan, and then you're going to pour the rest on top. I just did one just my whole what is that called, whole recipe of the enchilada sauce. Then you're going to cover it with some foil, put it in the oven, and cook it till the chicken is cooked through. I will have again the recipe down below so you can see how long in the temperature of the oven. And then once your chicken is cooked through, you're going to add on some Colby Jack cheese or whatever kind of cheese you want, and then you're going to add also some diced green chilies. So these are the diced green chilies that it originally asked for to put in the middle of your chicken, so you can use those too, but I just elected to use the whole ones, and then I'm putting the diced ones on top and putting it back in the oven to melt the cheese. And here you go. Oh my gosh, you guys, this was such a good recipe. Highly recommend it. It's just really good. You don't even know like you're eating low carb and healthy. It is really good. So here it is all plated up, and it was nice and filling. So this one was definitely enough, and I paired it with a salad. So again, this will be linked down below. The next recipe is a creamy taco soup that was absolutely loved by everyone. It was so good and so easy, you guys. We're going to use our Instant Pot for this. You can also use a crock pot. You can also do it on the stove. But I'm going to show you how I did it in my pressure cooker. Here are the ingredients you're going to need. You're going to use some sort of chicken broth or bone broth, some taco seasoning. It's my homemade taco seasoning. I had chicken tenders and chicken breasts in my freezer, so I'm using a combination of both. It doesn't matter, just you need some chicken. And then here is my pressure cooker. So literally just threw all those ingredients into the pressure cooker, and then I'm going to do it on the meat setting and just go ahead and cook it. So again, I will have everything linked down below with how long and everything. So then I have a can of Rotel tomatoes, a block of cream cheese. So after your chicken has cooked through, you're just going to put that into your pan, into your pot, and then I'm going to go ahead and cook it on high pressure. And really we're just melting the cream cheese at this point. You can add in your tomatoes sooner. I think the original recipe calls for you to do it, but I don't like my tomatoes to be really disintegrated. So I'm just doing high pressure for 10 minutes, and here it is. Now I had to kind of stir it up really well to get the rest of that cream cheese to kind of melt down, because there were some chunks of cream cheese in here, as you can see. So I just kept stirring it, and that cream cheese eventually melted. And here is the final product. I had topped mine with some Colby Jack cheese, some sour cream, and some jalapenos. Such a good recipe. The flavor on this was spot on and out of this world. The final recipe is called a rose con pollo. This is one with a red sauce. I know sometimes it can come in a creamy sauce, but I found this recipe and thought it looked really, really good. So I'm using rice cauliflower in place of the regular rice. I did put this in the microwave to thaw it out a little bit. You also will need some green bell pepper, onion, chicken broth, tomato sauce, some kind of red taco sauce, picante sauce is what the recipe called for, some salt, pepper, and garlic. So the first thing you're going to do is add all of those ingredients except for the spices into a bowl, mix it all up together, and then also I ended up using 2 riced cauliflowers because I wanted to fill up the pan. So I used 2 of them, put them in the microwave, thawed them out, put them in the bottom of the pan. And then you're going to add on your chicken. So I'm using chicken thighs. Use whatever kind of chicken you like. Put the salt, pepper, garlic on them. Put those on top of the rice, and then you're going to pour on your sauce. So I just pour that entire sauce on top of the chicken. Now, the original recipe I'm going to link down below called for a lot more, called for an entire can of tomato sauce. It called for a whole cup of the picante sauce, but that was too much. And also the chicken broth. I think it called for an entire can of chicken broth. But that is too much because we're using rice cauliflower. When you use regular rice, it was actually cooking it. You were putting raw, like instant rice in this recipe. So it needed that liquid to absorb. So this actually was even a little bit too much liquid also. So you may kind of have to play around with the recipe. I would say I would cut everything down to like a quarter cup. I used a half of a cup of everything, so maybe a quarter cup of everything, just to make sure that it doesn't do that. Now, I was out of foil. This is hilarious. I was out of foil, so I just used a cookie sheet on top to put this into the oven. So it's going into a 350-degree oven, and this is what it looks like after you take the top off. So it baked for 55 minutes. Again, it's going to depend on what kind of chicken you use. Chicken thighs take a little bit longer to cook. And then you're going to add on some Colby Jack cheese just like this, and then you're going to put it back into the oven for about 5 minutes until the cheese melts. And this is what the finished product will look like. Now, I forgot to take a little video of what mine looked like, but I did end up putting some sour cream on top and also some jalapenos on top too. But this was a really good recipe, y'all, but it was a little bit liquidy. See, look how liquidy that was. So play around with the ingredients, and you can see, you know, maybe what kind of a ratio that you need for that. So thank you guys, as always, for taking time out of your day to watch my videos, and everything will be linked down below, so check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.